Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the pod. It's been a while, but we're finally back in town. So, I am your host once again, Eric, and I am joined tonight by my lovely wife, Ashley Brown.
Hello. You said lovely.
Lovely. I'll go back and edit that part.
That's okay. You should leave it in. It's funny.
All right. We'll leave it in. Why not? But it really has been a while since we've done a pod just because I had so many audiobooks literally throughout the month of late of October and November. It's been nuts.
Well, you had a first. I think you had your longest one that was 14 hours.
It was over 15 hours Vietnam book. So, yeah, very extensive and a lot of work going in that one. But we want to kind of make things a little bit more, in the festive mood because we were doing Halloween stuff before. Now it's getting towards the Christmas season, so we thought it'd be a kind of a cool idea to talk on the pod about, holiday traditions of sorts, like stuff from our childhoods and new traditions that we basically started, in recent years. So,
well, okay. We were talking about this last night. One tradition that I always had, so this is at Christmas time, was putting up the tree with my parents. So, I would, my dad and I would put the tree up, put it together. We'd put the lights on and the garland on. And then my mom and I would put the decorations on. And I would have been so mad. You didn't do any of that.
By contrast, yeah, my mom kind of took charge of all the holiday stuff. We literally went to bed, woke up in the morning, and just the tree was up. Fully decorated, lights were on, all the bells and whistles.
I would be so mad because I wanted to be part of it.
It's Christmas now. So, yeah, that was basically our thing for the Christmas season. So, it'd be like the day or the weekend after Thanksgiving, just bam, we wake up and then there's the tree just ready to go.
Yeah, because I wondered, when we first got married, because we'd put up you'd help me put up the tree.
And then I just kind of sit back on the couch and you're just like, what's going on?
What are you doing?
Yeah. Differences of tradition. Because like I said, my mom kind of took the reins with all that stuff and we're just like, oh, okay, well, I guess the tree's ready there and it's Christmas time.
To me, that was so foreign to me because, I would have been so upset if my parents put the tree up without me.
Yep. And then the other part, too, on the flip side of that is taking the tree down because there was a couple of years where, parents kind of procrastinate a little bit and they're like, let's just leave the tree up. We'll just have an Easter tree. So we literally did that one year as well.
My best friend in, middle school, early high school, her family a lot of times would do the same thing. They wouldn't take the tree down right away. So they would have a tree for every season. So they had a tree for Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. They had a St. Patrick's Day tree.
Oh, yeah.
They had a 4th of July tree. Mm-hmm. And then because their tree was fake, they would put the tree upside down. They would put the small branches on the bottom. And the bigger ones, so it looked like their tree was upside down.
An upside down tree?
Yeah, they did that sometimes.
A topsy-turvy Christmas. I have heard of the Christmas in July thing where people kind of celebrate a weird half Christmas at the end of July. So I kind of get that, even though I think according to the calendar, it really should be June, not July, but yeah, whatever. But yeah, just little quirky traditions and personal things that people do around the holiday season. I thought would be kind of an interesting thing to talk about. So, but that's one of the big ones that that you kind of pointed out. It's just whoa, the tree thing.
Yeah. Now, you got real trees when you were growing up, right?
That's the thing, because we grew up out in the country, and we literally, the hill right behind our property was a Christmas tree farm. So we would literally just go out there for maybe, I don't know, 10 or 20 bucks. You'd pay the guy over there. They would chop down a Christmas tree, haul it over with a four-wheeler, and they'd plop it up in your, over in our rec room.
So we would go... We had a real tree when I was little. I remember when I was little, we would get a real tree. Mm-hmm. And there's an ice cream place in our city called Durbin's. Mm-hmm. And one of the things they do every year is sell Christmas trees.
Yep. Except for this year, though, right?
No. But yeah, I remember going to Durbin's when I was a kid and getting a real tree. Mm-hmm. But then I also remember with a real tree, our cat Milo, you'd have to water the tree. Oh, yeah. And she would go under the tree and she'd drink the water.
Mm-hmm. The one thing with a real tree compared to a plastic tree, because for many years we usually used plastic trees growing up, just because I feel like they're safer and they're kind of easier to put together and everything. You basically just lock them in the thing and then off they go. But with a real tree, oh my gosh, the needles get everywhere.
Yeah, I remember finding pine needles well into summertime.
Yep. And I tell you what, if you want to have a good Kickstarter for a Yule fire or something like that, for a Yule log type thing, nothing burns better than a completely dried out Christmas tree. That sucker goes up so freaking fast.
That reminds me one time. Okay, I had a friend in high school named Ashley. We called her Crouton. Mm-hmm. It was a nickname from band. And one year, it had to be in springtime, and they still had their old Christmas tree laying in the backyard. So we were, after band practice one day, we went to her house and we had a bonfire, and we lit that tree on fire. I'm not kidding. I think the flames must have shot like over 6 to 10 feet in the air. I mean, it was crazy. And then,
yeah, and it goes up quick too. It's just.
Well, I remember her mom coming out, and she's like, "I don't want to call the fire department."
Just a big old blast.
I'm not kidding. Like you could feel the heat from it. We were like really far back, but I'm trying to remember how old I was when we got a fake tree. I know I was still a kid, but yeah, we stopped getting real trees and we got the fake ones.
The vast majority of my Christmases growing up had the fake tree. Like we actually had like the type of plaster tree where like they were color coordinated branches and you had to interlock them into like the main stem in the middle of the tree. And basically you'd slowly build up from there. Like the longest branches were at the bottom and then subsequent colors. Like I think blue was bottom, green was next, and then so on and so forth.
Oh man, I remember doing that with my dad, putting the tree together like that.
Yep. I faintly remember helping to put together the tree a couple of times, but most of the time we would just go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and it's just all put together and like, boom, there it is.
Well, now the trees it's like the fake ones. Everything's already attached, which is nice.
Yep. I like the new trees where they have like all the lights already built into it.
I don't.
So you don't have to like string them together.
I don't.
See, I think aesthetically they look nice, and I think your parents had that really nice tree where like you could control the light so it would like glow in rainbow colors. I was like, that's crazy.
That one I like, but the pre-lit ones that just have the white lights on them, I don't like white Christmas lights.
Really?
No.
No. See, I think if you were to decorate it like, it can be very classical looking for like a true traditional like English Christmas. Like you put pine cones on there and those like little berry branches and everything, some holly. I think it would look really nice.
It's pretty, but I mean, I am a very I love like the 90s colorful Christmas. I am very anti-sad beige mom Christmas.
I was going to touch on that too. The whole sad beige mom and almond mom trend where like it's a very colorless tree.
That makes me so sad because this is going to segue off to another topic, but I feel like a lot of color is disappearing from the world because everything is so minimalistic and gray and beige and white.
That have a gray and brown Christmas tree.
Like the millennial gray trend makes me want to vomit because everybody's houses look like the dentist office. But yeah, and it's like bleeding into Christmas, and it's like Christmas should be colorful and happy, and like I want my house to look like Christmas threw up in it, which our house kind of sort of does.
Yep. Well, I like the festive look of all that too because I like color and everything. So yeah, I'm kind of like, but I also like color scheming too because our house is blue. I like to have like white and blue lights on the outside of our house or a white and blue projector. I mean, because it just kind of works with our house color.
It does, but
because if you have like a bunch of like purples and reds, it's just like,
But that's the beauty of it. You can have all the colors.
It's clashing though.
Who cares? It's Christmas. Here, honey, I'm a very tacky person. You should know this by now.
Yeah.
I love tacky, bright, colorful things.
We're talking about a guy who wears an Irish patch cap with like camo shorts. So yeah, I know a thing or two about tacky.
But no, it's true. Like, I want Christmas to be like bright and glittery and colorful.
Yeah, I can see that. I did remember the one year we actually did hang icicle light, and I love icicle lights compared to regular lights. I just think they look a lot better. But we tried to hang icicle lights off of our gutters, and yeah, it never pans out every year. Like either one section completely goes out and the rest are all illuminated, or like some of them droop. Or like the stupid clips give out so that they're part of like one section's hanging off your gutter the wrong way. It's like, oh my gosh, so much of a hassle.
See, that's a difference when growing up with Christmas. So you always had Christmas lights outside your house. I never had Christmas lights on the outside of my house until we moved in here.
Yeah.
No, yeah. We never did.
My dad would always decorate. That's the other kind of traditional thing. My dad would always take care of like the outside of the house. Mom took care of the inside. Dad would put up all the Christmas lights on the outside of the house, hanging off the gutters and everything. But my dad always had floodlights. Like he had a really big red floodlight kind of on half of the house and a big green floodlight kind of illuminating the other half.
Yeah. That
combined with like rainbow Christmas lights adorned, like hanging off the gutters and part of the roof, that worked. That looked really Christmassy. I remember one year too, my dad actually bought a whole Santa suit. And mind you, they live in the middle of nowhere. Out in like the middle of the countryside, nobody drives by, and he's hanging outside in the freezing cold, I think on like Christmas Eve night, trying to wave at traffic going by, and I think he got maybe one car that drove by the whole night.
You guys literally do. I mean, they literally live out in the middle of nowhere. Why why?
And my dad came back and he was like, no one's out there. We saw one car go by, like, there's a car, and he went running back outside. He's like, wait. So just shows the kind of guy my dad is.
That's so fun. Hey, it's the thought that counts.
It was. So
put in the effort.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, my grandpa on my mom's side, he actually had the look of Santa Claus. He was anything but, though, personality wise. But
he did. He looked like Santa. He
was not. He was more Krampus than Santa.
He was. I was going to say he was Krampus.
He was the Christmas kraut.
He was.
So. I'm trying to remember some of the other things. We would always go over to and once again, you kind of touched on this too. Like you said, when the family matriarch passes away, usually the family Christmas dynamic kind of like fractures, and people don't get together from the families anymore. And that's true with kind of like what you said with the Reynolds side, too.
It was both, because when both of my grandmas passed, like, Christmas, like, changed.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of my grandma, so the house that we live in right now, because we live in the same house my grandparents lived in since 1957. So, and if you know us in real life and have been to our house, our house is not big. It's very small. Mm-hmm. My grandma used to have these crazy Christmas Eve parties, and she would have anywhere from 30 to 50 people in this
little house.
And I, to this day, do not know how she did it. But there would be, some people would be hanging out in the kitchen, but our kitchen's not big. Mm-hmm. And when my grandparents lived here, my grandpa had like a little den down here, and they would play cards.
I was going to say, in the downstairs area, he had like a bunch of games and dartboard and stuff like that.
But still, even then, like that, can you imagine 50 people
I can't.
in
Not
this house? But she did it every year.
Yeah, that's wild. She was a good cook, too. So I was blessed enough to meet her, like, when we first started dating, like, I think she passed away within, about, year two or three.
A year or two. Mm-hmm. And same thing with my other grandma, because I remember we would go to her house for Christmas on my dad's side.
Now, I do remember going to Christmases on both their houses, I think. Yeah. Because your grandma on your mom's side, she always had a big spread of food. And, oh, my gosh, she would stuff you silly.
My other grandma would, one thing I miss, her chicken and dumplings.
Yep.
Oh my God! Every Christmas we'd have my dad's side of the family for, oh my God, the chicken and dumplings.
And that's another thing too, is famous food dishes that are prepared during certain holidays. So for you, it was chicken and dumplings, right?
So so my one grandma would always make chicken and dumplings, and then she would make I think at Christmas she made like cabbage rolls or pigs in a blanket, but I didn't eat those back then.
Yeah.
And then my other grandma would always make potato salad, which sounds weird, but her potato salad's like the only one I like. And she would make she used to make the spicy crab dip. It was so good.
Oh yeah. Now for our side, over on my side of the family, we would get together usually on my mom's side of the family over my grandma Schuler's house, and she's still kicking. She's like almost closing in on 100 right now. So go Grandma Schuler. Oh. But we would get together over at her place. I remember we would have like big thick cuts of ham and everything. And for some reason, she would always make eggs. Like, doesn't matter the time of year, she would just make like this really good eggs in a very retro or very old school cast iron skillet, and it just had all the flavors of decades poured into it. And those are, I swear to God, the best scrambled eggs you've ever had. That and some toast, and oh my gosh! So that reminds me of my time during the holidays over at my grandma's house, and we used to get tons of toys back then. Like literally. I think my aunt and uncle would actually bring like garbage bags full of presents for me and my brothers to kind of unwrap. And we were like, this is awesome.
Well, it's kind of weird, like growing up. So with my family, so my mom's side, I was the only kid.
Yeah.
Like, so my I'm an only child. My aunt never had any children. My uncle never had any children. So I go over to Christmas and it was just me. I was the only kid.
I was going to say you were the focal point of Christmas.
Well, and even on my grandma's huge Christmas Eve parties, I was really the only kid, like, for the whole time.
Yep.
But then on my dad's side of the family, there's a whole slew of cousins, so we'd go there, and that was one thing I did like more, is like, I had my cousin Heather, who's only 9
I was going to
days
say,
younger
your
than me.
cousins are more around your age, where all my cousins are much older than me.
My cousin Jake, so like we would hang out. It would be nice, because at least at that one I knew it's like, okay, I have more people my age to hang out with.
Yep. Now, for my dad's side of the family, there's kind of like a sad story for like kind of like a family falling out of things, where I remember my cousins on my dad's side coming over to our house, and they were playing on our old DOS computer we had downstairs. I think we were playing like, some golf game or Mario Teaches Typing or something like that. Shows my age. But I remember my mom and dad had agreed to host Thanksgiving that year.
Oh,
and
the infamous Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the infamous Brown's Thanksgiving. So all the Brown family came over, and I think it was my grandma's sister basically called my mother an outsider to the family and that she shouldn't have any input on like who does what. And my dad just squashed the whole thing. He said, "That's it. We're just not going to get together anymore." And that was really the last time all throughout my childhood that we really got to see the Brown side during the holidays. I mean, we still went over to Grandma Brown's house just kind of like on a random day, and we'd open presents over there. Because my Grandpa Brown, he passed away when I was about I think maybe 3 years old. So.
Well, I have an infamous holiday story. This is before you and I met.
Yeah.
So this was the infamous Christmas of 2007. Dad, if you're listening, you will know what I'm talking about. I've told you this story. So we were at my dad's side of the family. We were all at my grandma's. And let's just say that side of the family, they can get a little rowdy and they like to drink a lot. So my mom, I guess somehow during the evening, my mom just decided to invite everybody over to our house after the Christmas gathering. So everybody shows up at our house.
Of course.
And, it was, as my other grandma described it, it was like bedlam. As I was talking about, that side of the family has all the kids. And I was the one, number one, I had to babysit all these children. And let me tell you, like
herding cats.
Like demon spawn, loud, obnoxious children. I had to babysit them. And then everybody was drunk. And my dad had to listen to 5 or 6 drunken confessions. My one aunt got so drunk that she couldn't even walk up the stairs, so my dad had to help her walk up the stairs. I think she ended up staying the night. It was just
bedlam.
Oh, it was chaos. It was utter chaos. I was so upset because at the time it was my cousin's girlfriend's kids who were there. They were the demons. Yep. They were oh my God, I was ready to rip my hair out. It was, I can't even describe to you.
And that's another difference between our two families growing up, too, as far as traditions go. Your family were able to have alcohol there. My family was, super sober.
Yeah.
They never believed in having any type of alcoholic drink. But I remember on your guys' family, too, you always had, a special bottle of Manischewitz just on hand, too.
Well, so typically Manischewitz, that's more of a Jewish version. But my great-grandpa Steve loved...
That was his go-to.
He loved Manischewitz, and he always had some at Christmas time.
Yep.
And...
Isn't that communion wine, too, they have over in the churches?
It's pretty much communion wine.
Yeah.
But, he always had a bottle of Manischewitz. So we've continued that because my dad would always buy a bottle of Manischewitz, and he would have a little cheers to Grandpa Steve, and then we started doing it.
Yeah. That's the thing, because Manischewitz, I think it has a lower alcohol percentage. It tastes more kind of a more...
It's like grape juice.
An alcoholic grape juice, a tad bit of alcohol in it. So, but one thing we've really kind of grown to appreciate more is meads throughout the holiday season and everything. And we've been going to Crafted Meadery over in Mogador a lot. And that's actually really becoming quite popular now.
Well, we always, back to kind of Thanksgiving, one thing that we've been doing the past, how many years have it been now? 5 years?
Since the pandemic, we started a little tradition called Friendsgiving, which a lot of people have.
Well, that's been around for a while, but we just started doing it in the last 5 years.
But yeah, it was a nice way for bringing a few of my friends together during especially during that trying time, during when everybody was isolated and everything. And I'm just well, I could just invite my brother or maybe one buddy, and we'll just have we'll cook something different that's different than Thanksgiving. Typical fare, turkey and stuffing. We actually cook a meatloaf.
Well, we got it. If we started with the Elder Scrolls cookbook.
Yep, a video game cookbook, and they had a recipe in there for one of the little critters I think in the video game, and it's a very different type of meatloaf. It's meatloaf infused with smoked oysters and wrapped in bacon,
and it's delicious.
You guys say it's delicious. I'm not meatloaf guy. I have tried and tried.
I can't believe you don't like the Horker loaf. I cannot believe it.
And that's the name of it. That's called the Horker loaf in the video game cookbook. So it's based off of some weird looking walrus thing.
But yeah, we started that 5 years ago, and I'm glad we did. I always really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's a cool little thing we do. So we'll send out specialized invites and everything with a little rubber stamp on the back. So
that's fun.
Oh yeah. It's a good little tradition.
We make it look like it's on an old piece of parchment. And I think the wax seal just adds a nice touch.
Yeah. Got a nice little wax seal with a B on the back. Could stand for B, or for our last name, Brown. So, but cool little traditions. And once again, that's something that we started. So it's kind of just happened organically. And we're like, hey, that's kind of a cool way to get together, play some games, and just, it's a good way to get together during the holidays. Because we've never done Christmas parties. With friends.
I've always, like to honor like my grandma being in this house, I've always wanted to have like a huge Christmas party.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted, because I was talking to my mom about this the other day. I've always in this house, I don't know how we would do it. We would have to do some major cleaning and organizing, but I would love to have just a huge Christmas party.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that here.
We could, but once again, with, the amount of room we have here, we're kind of limited. So.
That's what I mean. Our room over there, we'd have to clean it out, but I've always wanted to do that.
That'd be fun to have a few friends over for the Christmas season. So it's kind of hanging out, playing more games and everything.
Yeah, we could do that.
So I know you've been itching to play more trivia games.
Nobody wants to play trivia games.
Because you're too good at them.
Not the one we played at Friendsgiving. I sucked.
Yeah. I think you did pretty good.
So the sad thing is, because of my work, I am way better at trivia questions from like the 50s and 60s.
I was going to say you're used to that, not 21st century trivia, which is what we were playing.
But I do like trivia games and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're typically really good at them. And that's kind of a tradition that we usually do too around like New Year's time as well. We'll play like Trivial Pursuit Live. They have on the Xbox console. We'll play that game. So, and that's a more interactive version of trivia, which I feel like is kind of fun.
Oh, I remember a game that I used to play. So on my mom's side of the family at Christmas time, I don't know if you've ever played this. It's a card game. So I think it was around Christmas time, or it might have been Christmas and Thanksgiving. We would always play this card game called Screw Your Neighbor.
I've heard of that one. I think I might have played that in the past.
I think you've played it.
Yeah.
But it was with cards and quarters, and I can't remember the exact rules on how to play it. But yeah, you just play with, like, I think you start with like 3 quarters. And you have to like pass the card. It's very, very simple. I don't remember the rules, but it's extremely easy. And we would always play it. Whoever was the last one standing, you got to keep all the money that was thrown in the pot.
We would play, as far as games during Christmas season over at my grandma Schuler's house, we would play Kerplunk.
Oh, Kerplunk!
Like, that little game with marbles where you're like pulling out the sticks. We would play, as far as card games go, Skippo. We would play that a ton over at her house.
I've never played Skippo.
Skippo's fun, so I have not played that in decades now, so it's been a while. And then trying to think some of the other games I used to play over there too. I remember Candyland we would play at nauseam when I was a little kid. I just thought it was so much fun until you draw like a card and it's just like, go back to the Candy King, and you're like, damn it! Going all the way back to like the very beginning of the board. So I remember me and Ryan would play that, I think, a lot back then. I don't know if Jeremy would remember stuff like that at all.
Yeah, see, because I'm trying to remember any board games I played like during the holidays. Oh, one game I remember playing, because we tended to play this more around Christmas time too, with my grandma, because I would play with my mom, my grandma, and my grandma's friend Doris. We would play Scrabble.
Oh, that's interesting.
We would play that during, like, kind of close to Christmas time. I'm pretty sure I just saw a cat walk across that window.
You might have.
Anyway,
some stray cats
sorry,
out here.
I have the sixth sense when it comes to cats. Anyway, so we would play Scrabble. And I tell you what, my mom and my grandma were so smart when it came to words and like grammar. Like,
they came up with these ridiculous things just at the drop of a hat.
They would come up with these words like triple word score, all these crazy words, and then you try to and then my grandma had a Scrabble dictionary and she'd whip out that dictionary. Oh, that's not a word. You can't use that word.
I'm kind of surprised my parents never really got into those type of... My dad's he hates board games. He has tried, and...
Your dad would be good at Scrabble, though.
That's what I mean. I come from a very, like, word-heavy family. My dad was a sports editor. My mom was a transcriptionist. They've dealt with typing or writing words their entire life, and that's why it's kind of, like, imprinted on us. I mean, we're natural writers. But, yeah, we've never played Scrabble. They'd be naturally good at it.
They would be.
So, once again, my dad he hates board games. Going back to another core memory, we were over in my mom and dad's old condo in Ocean City, and we picked up a copy of Monopoly. And my dad somehow luckboxed his way into getting all the railroads, and he just wanted this damn game to be over. We were playing for hours. It was late at night. He wanted to go to bed, And we kept getting him back in the game because everybody kept landing on the damn railroads. My dad's like, when's this freaking game going to be over? And it literally, I think we were done about like 2 or 3 in the morning. And he was just, that was the last memory I think I have of playing a board game with him.
I have a funny Monopoly story.
Oh, yeah. In this house?
I can't remember if I've talked about this on the pod or not. So it was in this house years ago. So my grandma and grandpa lived here, and my grandpa, I can't remember who he was playing with, but he was playing, I think there might have been a couple of his buddies. They were here playing Monopoly. And it was taking forever. And
As it usually does.
And I guess my grandma was just getting so mad that they were playing Monopoly for hours. She took the board game and threw it down the basement steps. So I don't know how much time passed. My grandma looks down the basement steps. My grandpa and his buddies had reset the board up and were playing down
at the very foot of the steps.
They were playing in the basement landing.
Yep. Grandma's still fuming. We're still playing that stupid game.
Yeah, so they kept playing.
Yep. As we do.
Oh, that was so funny.
See, that's the thing, too, because, like, trying to play those type of games, especially when, my buddies, we tend to be very competitive with everything. And we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, too, so it makes it for, like, a very kind of, like, I don't know, touchy thing. So it's like whenever we play poker together, it's like, we hate seeing people lose because people usually lose either in a huff or angry.
I have no clue how to play poker, so I will never play poker with you.
All of our poker nights, like they degrade into good guy Greg half the time, where it's like, as soon as somebody's out, then suddenly, like, the next round is like everybody's all in, and then we just end it real quick. So, especially if you're playing for prizes, then we all get testy. So, we're just all competitive.
I am not a poker player.
Yep. I'm trying to think of some of the other games we played during the holidays, too. Monopoly definitely is a big one.
Yeah, Screw Your Neighbor and Scrabble were the two I remember playing mostly during Christmas.
Skippo was a big one for my childhood. Candyland. I'm trying to remember some of the other games. We barely played Connect 4. I think me and Ryan maybe played that a couple times, but as far as other games, I'm trying to remember, also segueing off that, like, are there special, like, Christmas presents you got during your childhood that are, really touch on, like, a core memory with you?
Oh, man.
Going back, I got a good one. I remember back, I think it was either 92 or 93. I got a Sonic the Hedgehog pinball machine. It's kind of more elongated. It's like it's built for kids.
That's right up your alley.
But oh my god, yeah, I'm a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan, and I remember getting that thing, and I was just like, oh my god, so good. And for the life of me, I don't know what the heck happened to that thing. It was all those years ago.
I'm trying to remember what I got Christmas presents.
Yeah,
I remember before was my senior in high school, I got an iPod.
Like the old school iPods.
The iPod, like
not
the little
touches,
the little pink ones with the wheel.
Oh yeah, the super, like, basically Game Boy Color colors.
Well, because I was all excited about that gift because I took it to college with me and I used to listen to it. Like when I would walk to class, I would listen to my music all the time on that iPod.
Yeah, those what were they, iPod shuffles or something like that?
No, the shuffle was the little square.
They were the small one.
But yeah, it was the pink iPod.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, it had the ring where you would like
basically control the volume with your thumb, just kind of like wheeling it up or down.
I gotta look up what that's called.
Oh yeah, I remember when those came out. So showing our age here with that one. Yeah. Oh my gosh, once we upgraded the iPhone, it was like no looking back. Holy crap.
iPod Mini, was that what it was called?
Maybe.
Or iPod. Or was it the Nano? Or no, the iPod Nano, I think.
Was it Nano? I thought Nano was a small one. Boy, that's going back.
Yeah, but that was one of my favorite Christmas presents I got because I used that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But then I remember when I was younger, I'm pretty sure I got a Light Bright for Christmas one year.
Oh, my
gosh. I loved that thing. I loved my Light Bright.
Yep. I remember, I think it was my Aunt Susan and Uncle Gare. They gave us, like, for some reason, I think Ryan and I were like a little bit older in our childhood years, and they gave us multiple sets of laser tag, and they were like really legit good ones.
That's awesome.
And we basically had like these awesome little, it was almost like a little assault rifle gun, and we were basically like, basically shooting at each other the whole time, like, this is a crazy Christmas.
Huh, that's cool.
So, but yeah, I remember they got us, multiple sets of like laser tag, and I remember that was really cool. I think the laser gun's still over at my parents' house, buried in a closet somewhere, probably underneath a horde of spiders or something.
Oh, God.
So
all those wolf spiders.
One cool memory I have with the holiday season, though, because we lived out in the country, we had a beautiful, like 70-degree angle, quarter of a mile hill in our backyard, and especially our neighbor's house, too. Our neighbor was never there for some reason.
Craig's Hill.
Yeah, Craig is he's an odd dude. Never there. But we would always go over to his house because he had more of an incline and more more of a steeper slope. We would go sled riding.
I went sled riding there a couple times with you guys.
You did. But yeah, it was actually like a beautiful 70-degree angle hill, about, a quarter of a mile. And then right in the middle, there's a little bit of like a natural bump that you could turn into a ramp. And I think we actually took my brother's BMX bike ramp, stuck it right before that hill, covered it in snow, and we really launched off that thing with inner tubes and sleds. I mean, that was some fun, like great memories of sledding.
Well, the place that we would go sledding, we would go to the Water Tower Hill.
Mm-hmm.
That was always a good place to go sledding in our city.
How long of a drop was that one?
Oh, it's huge.
Pretty decent size?
Oh, yeah. It was big, way bigger than Craig's.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was a huge hill.
No, I remember the one year, which was really nice, because we always had like a little string where you could kind of like tug your sled behind you. One year, Kevin actually had a four-wheeler, and we could basically just latch on the back of his four-wheeler, and he hauled us back up to the very top of the hill.
So nice.
That was the way to do it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's almost like a personal ski lift. But Kevin got tired of like constantly wheeling everybody back and forth. He's like, this is stupid. So he stopped doing that.
Well, he didn't get to sled ride.
That's what I mean. He basically was doing all the work, and we were having all the fun. So I don't blame him. But yeah, those are good memories. Especially like, I always loved it when there was like ice that would, it would be like freezing rain after a good snowfall, and it would turn all of that compacted ice into like almost like a true ice slick. And I remember one year, I think my cousins on my mom's side came over, and they basically made almost like a half bobsled type of course over on Craig's Hill, where we were going almost perfectly like, sideways, going around these big banks. And on our sleds and inner tubes. It was crazy. We were flying down that hill.
Well, yeah, and I had forgotten about this, but a place that we used to go sled riding was on my old street where I grew up. It was across the street, and some neighbors across the street, they had a hill. They had a hill in their backyard. I totally forgot about this. Yeah, and we would just go over there, and we would just sled ride in their and I don't think they ever cared, but we would just sled ride back there. Actually, I remember that. Speaking of, man, it's amazing what you start to remember when you start talking about this stuff.
Yeah, right?
But there were a group of us kids in the neighborhood, and I remember specifically, I don't know why they did this when we were sled riding. They were like they were trying to like run into each other when they were sled riding. And they hit their heads together.
Ooh.
And I remember they ended up having to call an ambulance, and the one girl had to wear a neck brace for a while.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
If I remember correctly, I think shortly after that, I'm not sure I was allowed to sled ride back there anymore after that happened.
Oh, that would kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Trying to save kids from themselves.
I don't think any of us were. I think after that happened, I think the neighbors kind of put a stop to it.
Makes sense.
I think, if I remember correctly.
But yeah, sled riding's a good one for me. Because I remember, like, especially on even New Year's Eve, like we'd be out there. Actually, a cool little tradition my parents had on typically most New Year's Eve, they would they would rent a room. It'd be over the old Carnation Mall in Alliance. And back then, I mean, they used to have them all. If you stay at the Comfort Inn, they had a deal where it's like movie, room, and a pizza combo. And we basically go over there. We get like a really nice hotel stay. I remember watching like, some special countdown clock thing, and we go see a movie and have a pizza from, I think it's Napoli Pizza that's over there in the mall. And that's kind of a cool memory I would always have for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool one.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Especially going to like swim in the pool, because I'm like, yay. Because Comfort Inn had a pool down there. So it was always a good time. That was always our New Year's tradition.
I don't remember. I think if I might be remembering the wrong holiday, but I remember my dad would get Red Lobster to go, and I'm almost positive this was New Year's, because my mom and I love their fried shrimp. Mm-hmm. So I think on New Year's my dad would get like a bunch of shrimp and stuff to go, and we would have Red Lobster.
That sounds awesome.
I think that was New Year's.
They had some Cheddar Bay biscuits. Oh.
Yeah, I remember that.
That sounds good. I think the traditional dish for New Year's, though, isn't it sauerkraut balls or something?
Yes.
Sauerkraut balls and cocktail weenies.
Mm-hmm.
We never did anything that. We always had pizza. Pizza in a hotel room. I'm just like, this is awesome. Then we got to swim in a pool.
As a kid, that would be like super
cool. That was sweet during my childhood.
Especially if the hotel had a pool.
Oh, yeah. That was the big thing. They had a pool and a hot tub. My parents would chill in the hot tub. We'd be splash around the pool. Ryan was a natural swimmer, so he was like, basically a frog in water.
Wouldn't your dad never get a hotel without a pool?
Yeah, because I think him growing up, he always resented the fact, I think Grandpa Brown always got hotel rooms without pools, and my dad's like, I'm never going to let that happen with my family. And sure enough, every time we go to a place, he always makes sure there's an extra pool there.
Well, because I even remember like going down to Columbus with you guys when your dad would cover events down there. There would always be a pool.
Always be a pool. And I tell you what, that Clarion had one of the best hot tubs.
Oh, their pool was awesome too.
Yeah, it was like a big plus sign that had like multiple little sections where you can kind of sit in. It's like pluses extended out from a plus sign. And yeah, there was all kinds of little sitting areas. I think they turned it into like a therapy pool for like a wellness center after the museum after the hotel went defunct.
But I remember their pool was like really cool shaped too.
Oh yeah, it was really different.
Yeah.
Those are good memories. So yeah, we would do a lot of hotel room visits and everything. Like you said, when my dad would go cover like state tournaments or something like that for the newspaper. So
yeah, I remember doing that.
I'm trying to remember if there anything like coincided with a holiday for that stuff too. Never really did.
No, I don't think so.
In January, there would be like, I think, championship bowl games and stuff like that. Like, okay, the one college team in town over in the Alliance area, Mount Union, they would always be in a championship game.
Yeah.
Either during like, I think either the back half of December or early part of January. And it was the Stag Bowl. And we'd either go out there, either he would cover it or we would, do some special local feature or something like that and go to like, I don't know, tailgaters and get wings or something. So that was kind of a cool, like, mini tradition of sorts, I guess, because Mount Union was always winning everything.
Yeah. What other traditions can we talk about?
Yeah. That are just memories from the past. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, one we haven't talked about yet that my family has adopted. Well, so another one, this is around Thanksgiving, that my family used to do. Well, we've kind of continued to do it, is for some, I don't even remember how this started. On Black Friday, so the day after Thanksgiving, we would always have like food from this. We would order food from this catalog called Swiss Colony.
Oh,
and I'm pretty sure it might start with my grandma, but yeah, we would order it. And like, it was basically charcuterie before it was cool. You get this giant box, and we would always get the big box. It was a massive box of cheese, meat, cheese spreads, chocolate, nuts.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it was this whole big spread. And every Black Friday in the evening, we would sit there, me and my mom and dad, and we would sit there.
And devour all the Swiss Colony.
I'm getting sad. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's what I mean. It's just old memories of the past. So.
Well, no, it's just,
Yeah.
I'm getting verklempt.
Yeah.
But we would sit there.
Yep. As a family, just all kind of indulging. Is there any particular movie you guys would watch?
We would always watch It's a Wonderful Life.
Really?
Yes.
The color one or black and
Oh,
white?
no, black and white. Okay, I know I was just talking about I want Christmas to be colorful and everything.
Yeah, but It's a Wonderful Life has to be black and white. Ironies?
It's a Wonderful Life. It has to be black and white. And then we would watch Rudolph too, but we would always have to watch. We would watch It's a Wonderful Life, the Christmas Carol from 1938.
I like that one. That's grown on me throughout the years too.
Because we always watch that one.
Yep. Ever since I met you, that became kind of like my, my go-to Christmas Carol. Because my God, we have seen that ad nauseum. So we even saw that at Playhouse Square one time with Great Lakes Theater Company because they perform over in the Ohio Mimi Theater.
Yeah.
And because of my hypersonic hearing, like that electrical buzzing noise bothered me the entire time. So that was ugh. But yeah, we've seen Christmas Carol so freaking
a ton of different times.
But yeah, doing okay?
Yeah.
Just thinking back on those times. Yeah, I know. That's me. It's emotional to think back to all that stuff because that's what I mean. That's old past traditions. And as you go through life, you end up developing or segueing off and making new traditions with new family. So that's just the natural change in life. But those memories last. So, yep, the food, the snacks, and all that good stuff. I'm trying to think if there was any particular movies we would watch growing up. Even though my last name's Brown, like I said, I always thought Charlie Brown Christmas is kind of like, it is what it is.
I like the Charlie Brown Christmas.
It's good, but I don't know. I kind of like the Halloween special is way better than the Christmas special.
Oh, that's Great Pumpkin.
Yeah, the Great Pumpkin. I always like that one. And the Thanksgiving one, you could kind of toss that in the trash.
Yeah, that
Peppermint Patty basically just being an absolute like jackass to Charlie Brown, inviting herself over and then getting mad that he's serving him popcorn. Like, what did you expect?
Oh, okay. So this is a Christmas movie that I don't know if anybody else remembers. So, okay. It was a Jim Henson Christmas movie called The Christmas Toy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and basically, I think Toy Story ripped them off.
Yep, got inspired by it.
Because, okay, it's basically the story of toys who come to life when people aren't around.
Mm-hmm.
And every year they would get a new toy for Christmas, and that would be the Christmas toy. And the new toy that comes along is a character who's like space themed, like Buzz Lightyear. Mm-hmm. Her name was Meteora, but still saying, and she was having a hard time, like that. She didn't believe she was a toy. It's totally Toy Story.
Yep.
It's totally Toy Story.
Makes me wonder if that was calculated too, because I think Jim Henson passed away in the early 90s, like 91 or 92.
But I'm pretty sure this came out in the 80s.
And that's, I mean, the story almost feels like an exact lift of that in Toy Story.
So the Christmas toy came out in the
80s, right?
1986.
Yep.
So Toy Story absolutely ripped this movie
Got
off.
some splaining to do.
But yeah, and one of the things that made me mad, I remember I got it on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
They cut out a few scenes from the movie. Like, I think you can find the full thing on YouTube, but yeah, they cut some scenes out on the DVD, and I'm like, what the heck?
That drives me nuts in certain movies too. It's like, come on.
But that's a very comforting movie for me at the holidays.
Well, I guess this was a big thing too, talking along those lines. I think in the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, they didn't have the ending part where like Santa went back for the Misfit toys.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
They added that later on, I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So that Jack in the Box is like, oh no, they forgot about us. Like, there they are. There's Rudolph. You can see his big glowing schnoz.
I personally never understood what was wrong with the Misfit toys.
Yeah, one of them didn't even seem broken because like one was like a gun that shoots jelly. It's like, then take the jelly out of the gun and put water in it.
And then the cowboy who rides an ostrich, that's cool.
Yeah, maybe he's from Australia.
Okay, and then the doll. What was wrong with the doll?
Nothing.
There was nothing wrong with the doll.
Yeah, outrageous.
And the polka dot elephant, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. The Island of Misunderstood toys, apparently.
Yeah, I'm like, no, those are cool toys. I would want every single one.
Yeah. What were they thinking with that?
They're trained with the square wheels. The cowboy who rides an ostrich. And then who's it?
I still think it's sad what happened to the actual figurines, because I think over the years what they were used as like a popcorn bowl decoration display.
I think it's a family that somebody who worked on the show or something.
Yeah, basically confiscated them and kept them as like a display and like a popcorn thing, and they just basically like started to get really weathered. I think they were just recently restored, but I think the originals have been found.
I think they did.
So that's kind of cool.
And then what's another Meister Burger?
Yeah, what's that? Santa Claus coming to town.
Yeah.
And then they got Topper. I'll call you Topper.
Well, I don't even know why they had that character.
It was so random. And then they got the random acid trip. What's that song with? His soon-to-be wife Jessica.
Yeah, Mrs. Claus. Yeah, there's a scene where total acid.
Yeah,
trip.
totally acid tripping on that one. It's like, what? I mean,
that was made in the 70s, so I'm not really surprised by that.
They're like, this would be a cool scene. Like, what in the heck?
Let's make it seem like she's on acid.
Another one along those lines that's really kind of trips out is, if you've ever seen the Halloween Grinch movie or Grinch TV series, or I think it was just like a Grinch special for Halloween. That one would it traumatized me as a kid. Like, this is freaking weird.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, they have it. I'm sure you can watch it on YouTube. I think it's like the Grinch season is October or something like that. I don't know what exactly they call it, but it's like a Grinch Halloween special. But touching on the Grinch, we know my dad is the embodiment of that movie.
Oh,
he loves the Jim Carrey Grinch.
He can quote that movie from beginning to end.
Yep. And he'll say it in like random increments of the air. He's like, what would I wear?
I mean, he quotes it all year round.
And he had a dog named Max. So he's like, oh, Max! So, yeah. Oh, my gosh. And I'm sure when we have him over for Christmas, too, he'll be rattling off all kinds of lines. We usually turn on the Grinch while he's over here.
We could put that movie on mute, and your dad could recite the whole thing.
Oh, exactly. So, are you two still living?
Well, they should have stopped. Okay, the classic Grinch cartoon and the Jim Carrey one, they should have left it at that. The one with what's his name? Benadryl Cumberbund. What's his name?
Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch, yeah.
Yeah, where they did with, I think it was Illumination Studios or something.
There was no reason.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
Behold the cookie.
Just stop.
Yeah. Oh, they were just trying to revamp it for for a newer audience, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought it was just okay. But once again, maybe the younger kids, they like that type of stuff. But the original Grinch Stole Christmas, I think, was narrated by Boris Karloff, who played Frankenstein. Back in the old,
was
like,
it Boris
Universal.
Karloff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the narrator, and then Thurl Ravenscroft, I think, was...
sang the song.
He sang the song, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch." He's also Tony the Tiger.
Oh, that's right. He is Tony the
They
Tiger.
are great! Same guy who sang that one. Yep, is Tony.
Interesting.
And I think he just passed away, a while ago, I thought. So, but yeah, Boris Karloff, Frankenstein, was actually the narrator for Grinch. And then the narrator for the Jim Carrey one was Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. So, Odin. But that was probably our classic go-to Christmas movie that we would watch as a family. And then, obviously, when we got married and started our own traditions, we kind of gravitated towards Christmas Vacation.
Oh,
Because
man,
we see elements of both of our fathers in Clark Griswold and various things.
Yes.
My dad with the Christmas lights for sure. Your dad with the reminiscing about memories up in the attic, watching like old family movies.
Oh my God, every time.
Yep. That reminds me of your dad, and like I said, the Christmas lights outside reminds me of my dad, going above
also,
and beyond.
the scene where Clark's having a tizzy about the Christmas lights.
Hallelujah! Holy...
But no, remember when he's like, he can't get it to light, he's like kicking the stuff in
Good.
That reminds me of my dad too.
Oh, yeah. Getting frustrated in the holidays. Reminds me of Christmas songs, too. Like, you love the 12 Pains of Christmas.
Oh, the 12 Pains of Christmas.
That is always a good belly laugh every time the holidays roll around.
I remember my dad burned a CD of all these funny Christmas. It had the 12 Pains of Christmas, the drunk 12 Days of Christmas.
I was going to say, "The 9 Days of Christmas, 7 Johnny Walkers,
6 Cuba Libras, 5 dry rums."
And then there was like the Canadian guys that were singing the song, and beer in a tree.
Bob and Doug?
Yeah. Was it the Bob and Tom show?
No, I thought it was Bob and Doug.
Oh, might be.
But they said 5 golden toques.
Yep.
4
pounds of backpacking.
3 French toast, 2 turtlenecks, and a beer
in a tree. That was a very random song.
The other one was Cartman singing "Oh Holy Night." That was on there.
And then, they would hit him with a cattle prod and be like, "Divine!"
Oh, the other song he had on there was, oh my God, what's that guy? The redneck guy. Larry the Cable Guy singing Christmas songs. He had that on there, too.
I do remember his. Yeah, Larry the Cable Guy singing some. I'm trying to recall those. This is a good one. Sure.
Oh my God. I shouldn't say one. They're kind of very politically incorrect, so I won't say them.
But yeah, you're right. He had a whole CD with all those parody Christmas songs.
And then the one that always used to get my mom laughing first, she loved when the dog and cats singing Christmas carols. It was just barking and meowing. You never heard that one?
I'm sure I have.
Bark, bark, bark.
One of the dumbest Christmas songs I have ever heard is Dominic the Christmas Donkey. Jack from the old newspaper told me about that when he said, "This is the stupidest Christmas song I've ever heard. It's called Dominic. It's about a stupid Christmas donkey." And I'm like, what? So I had to turn that on. And it's like, "Hey, jinkity jink, hey, Dominic the donkey." I'm like, what is this nonsense?
I actually like that song.
I was like, oh,
I'll have you know.
That's right up there with the one song your mother hates is, "I want a hippopotamus for Christmas."
Yeah, that song kind of irritates me.
Don't want no rinky dinker doll. There was another one that is a parody of, because you always hear Alvin and the Chipmunks. There's one's like, "Chipmunks roasting on an open fire."
Yes, I remember that one.
There was also another one with Weird Al where basically Santa goes friggin' ballistic at the North Pole. And he barbecued Blitzen. That one was crazy. I remember.
What was that song called? The year that Santa went crazy.
The year that Santa went crazy. I remember Matt Rill, back in grade school, introduced me to that song. I'm like, what is this nonsense?
Santa went crazy.
It basically got Dasher and Dancer with an old German Luger. He slashed up Prancer just like Freddy Krueger. I'm like, what is this?
I totally forgot about that.
Oh, that was a crazy song. I'm just like, my jaw was on the floor when I heard it. I'm like, what? I'm like, why is Santa going crazy?
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was all kinds of crazy songs like that. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to remember certain school things that were going on during that time too, during our childhood.
I remember, oh God, we always had to put on a Christmas play.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think it's because my teachers knew I was introverted. Mm-hmm. So they're like, oh, we want to do things to make her not. So they forced me to be in this stupid play. I didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, they made me do it. And I don't even remember what the play was about. I just remember being so nervous that I didn't want to do it. I feel like it was something about the play we did was like Santa Claus. They were trying to get Santa Claus to work out or something. I don't remember.
Santa's got to get back in shape.
But yeah, I think it was one of those things because the teachers knew I was shy and introverted. Oh, let's put her in this play.
Yeah, this will help break her out.
Yeah, it did not help at all. Mm-hmm. If any of my old teachers are listening, yeah, it didn't help at all. Thanks.
Instead of just traumatize you.
I'm still terrified of public speaking.
Which is a very common fear with a lot of people. One thing I remember, because I was part of a show choir during my, I was very into sports and everything, but I would always flip to the art side during the winter months, and I would join our show choir over at high school, which was called Young and Alive.
Oh, yeah, they were so good.
And I'm a natural dancer. I'm just, for some reason, I'm naturally good at dancing. Probably one of the better dancers in that group, too. And we would always sing Christmas songs, Christmas carols. I still have it memorized, the final dance for our big finale number, Hallelujah. So with all the spinning around we do, hallelujah. So we would always end our show at that. And, oh my gosh, I remember there was one time we performed at the Elks Club. I think it was over in Salem. And they didn't really have dressing rooms for us over there. So they basically stuck us in these special areas where it's guys only, girls only. And the guys area, there was a drunken Santa Claus that was just locked in this room with us.
What?
And I think a couple of the upperclassmen found a bunch of beers, giant cubes of beers underneath the thing. And we went out to go perform, and there was different levels of risers and everything. And I remember the guy named Luke, him and his dance part were the very top middle riser. It's the highest one. And there was a picture on the mantle that's kind of right behind where the risers were of a giant picture of an elk. And they were facing, him and his part were facing right at the picture of this deer's penis. And they could not hold it together. They were both just bursting out laughing. Because, we started our number, everybody's basically has their back turned to the crowd, and they're just staring directly at the deer schlong in front of them. And, oh my God, everybody we all looked up at Luke and we're just is he going to bust up? Is he going to bust up?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a great memory from Christmas, so...
We used to do Christmas concerts for band because I was during.
Oh yeah.
Not in marching band, but obviously during the winter seasons, it was concert or symphonic band season.
Yeah, the winter concerts.
Yeah, we would do winter concerts. Oh, and then obviously when I was younger, we would always do some sort of Christmas craft. Mm-hmm. And my mom still has. I feel like every parent who had a kid my age in the Norton school system still has the golden Three Kings macaroni art that we all made. Because it was a red piece of felt, like a banner, and we had to make the Three Kings, and we painted all the noodles gold, and we had to assemble it some of the noodles were hair, some of the noodles were hats. Yeah, my mom still has that.
Oh, cool. Well, that's kind of a cool thing.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody in my grade, their parents probably still have our noodle art.
Kind of a cool little memento from the past. Going back to Young and Alive stuff, too, I remember during Christmas season in particular, because I joined my sophomore year with, Young and Alive, their show choir, and we had Christmas trips. We'd take down to Disney. We were invited to Disney, I think, both my sophomore and junior year, and we went down there and performed at both Universal Studios and at Disney. And Disney actually had some big thing where we would perform in different places. I think we performed one at the old downtown Disney, which is now Disney Springs. We were there by the lakefront, and we basically danced around. Everybody walked past and really wouldn't watch us at all.
Yeah.
Universal in particular, too. No one came to see us. They stuck us in the back corner. I'm like, why are we even here? But it was kind of cool because we actually got access to all the different rides and everything while we were there.
That's cool.
But I remember there was actually a big, joining of all different show choirs from around the nation over at Epcot. And we would go to the big amphitheater they had over in the old colonial America section at Epcot, and we performed there basically formed a bunch of Christmas trees or something like that. All wore big green or white robes, and we were there with a ton of show choirs, and there was a guest speaker there, and we had to put on 2 shows. And the very end of the first show, everybody's just like, this guy looks so familiar. Like, who is this guy? He ended up saying the phrase that just gave him away. He said, but you don't have to take my word for it. It was LeVar Burton.
The Reading Rainbow guy.
And everybody's just like, oh, Reading Rainbow guy. So that's kind of a cool memory during the Christmas season. So, oh my God. And New Year's Eve at the Magic Kingdom, I would not recommend anybody go to because it was magical. They have like a whole bunch of like suds machines that shoot out like basically soapy snow that looks like snow. Don't eat it. And as soon as that clock hits midnight, all the fireworks are going off and everything. There are thousands of people there. They all immediately about face and head towards the only way to get back across like the lagoon there is the monorail. And we were waiting until about 3:30 in the morning before we got out of there. It was a madhouse.
Man.
So I would not recommend going to New Year's Eve at the Magic Kingdom. That was just a cluster. The weather's wonderful down there that time of year, but still, it was crazy memories.
Wow.
My parents had a condo over in Daytona, so they would basically kind of like shadow us as we're going to different parks and everything. So they would bebop over from Daytona to come visit us over in Kissimmee. So, which was kind of cool.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. I never got to go to Disney with my high school.
Yeah. You went plenty of times with me.
Yes, we did. We went several
times. We got burned out from Disney. We went so much. Never went during Christmas season, though. I still think you'd like Halloween down there.
I've never gone on a vacation during Christmas.
During Christmas?
I do remember, so our first trip that you and I took together when we went to New York.
Oh, yeah, the red-eye bus trip.
But that was the beginning of December, wasn't it? Because I remember going to Rockefeller Center and the giant Christmas tree was up.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember seeing that. That was really cool.
It was really cold that time, too.
Oh, my God.
The wind whipping off the ocean, like right down through all the skyscrapers.
It was so cold.
That was an experience.
It was fun, though. I enjoyed that.
I did, too. And we got to see Little Mermaid on Broadway. Mm-hmm. Good play. We actually saw Sierra Bonges, who was actually in the 25th anniversary Phantom of the Opera. She played Christine Daae.
And we watched that all the time, and we're like, oh, wait a minute. That's who
we know her.
We saw her on Broadway.
Yep. So I'm just like, oh, my God, small world. Crazy. But yeah, I actually thought Times Square was actually smaller than I thought. So, and I would not want to be there for New Year's Eve. That's one thing I know a lot of people are just like, oh, it'd be so magical to be over at Times Square for Christmas Eve night. No, it wouldn't. There's like no bathrooms around anywhere. You're standing for hours in like frigid temperatures. I'm like, that sounds miserable.
Yeah.
So now I'd rather do, a room, pool and a pizza and movie.
I'd rather just stay home.
That too. Yeah. Are there any special ornaments or anything like that kind of like have sentimental value to you?
Well, I don't have any ornaments from my child. I don't know if my mom or dad have those. I remember we'd have a pickle ornament. We always had a pickle ornament. So there's a funny story about a Christmas ornament. So my grandma bought this ornament. It was a cat ornament. Mm-hmm. It was like this fuzzy cat made out of pipe cleaners. It had like a cute, realistic face, but the body was made of pipe cleaners. And I don't know how it started, but me and my mom and my aunt every year would like fight over it, like that we wanted it. Mm-hmm. So I remember one year.
I remember this thing.
I remember one year I took it hostage, and I left a ransom note.
Where'd it go?
And then every year, like one of us would take. I think like one year my mom took it. Mm-hmm. 1 year my aunt took it. I don't know who has it.
Yeah, it's kind of gone missing.
I think my mom might have it, but yeah, every year we would. Oh, and that's one thing I remember my grandma used to do. She would always put chocolate on her tree.
Chocolate?
Okay, we buy them at World Market. They're the chocolate ornaments.
Oh.
Wrapped in that foil. Mm-hmm. She would always put those on her tree. So I remember like, I'd go there, take a couple, go back over again, take it, and then she would put like Reese.
Like bells or something?
Or was it might have been Milky Way, like they had these little trees or these bells. She would hang those on the tree too, but yeah, I remember I would go over and snag some of the chocolate ornaments off the tree.
I remember the type of bulbs that my parents had used in some of the Christmas lights were kind of like, I think they were deemed fire hazards, because I remember like there was the little bubbler lights, which I thought were awesome, but those things are extremely dangerous.
Those are
they're almost like lava lampy in a way, but they would bubble like crazy.
If I remember right, those were popular like in the 60s.
Oh, yeah. I remember those lights. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, those were cool, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're super fire hazard.
Yeah, there was that one, and then there was like, just like the standard incandescent lights. I like LED lights by comparison now. I think incandescent only goes so far. Like if you're trying to go for like an older aesthetic retro tree that looks good, but like the newer LEDs are far superior, and they last longer. one light goes out, they all go out. But yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, do we ever have tinsel or anything like that on the tree? Because with cats around the area, like, isn't that bad for them?
Well, okay, so we have, like, the strands of garland, but I remember...
Like the elongated tinsel strands.
The long strands of tinsel, which I love those. I think it makes your tree look so Christmassy, but with cats, you can't have those because that's also very bad for them.
Public service announcement, do not have poinsettias if you have a cat. They are highly toxic to cats.
Yes, so we've never had real poinsettias.
Yep. So is that the same thing with Easter lilies too?
Lilies too. Lilies are extremely poisonous to cats. So
Also, don't feed goats avocados. They can eat anything but an avocado for some reason. So another little warning PSA out there. That's right. He's the goat.
That's why he's the goat. The goat.
Is that the only reason you said that? Is so you could use that sound
the goat. But I remember, waking up on Christmas Day, unwrapping presents, everything. What was the best Christmas gift you ever got?
Oh God.
Did you ever get like a pet for Christmas at all?
No.
Never got a pet. I don't know if we ever did either.
No.
I'm trying to recall. I don't think we ever got a pet for Christmas.
Oh my God, I can't.
This year's kind of nice because we kind of got a washing machine for Christmas because our washing machine.
Yes,
is up
we
and
did. We
kicked
got a washing machine.
So shout out to Scott. Thank you so much.
It's amazing how your priorities change. Like when
As
you're
you
a
get
kid,
older.
it's like, oh, that sounds stupid, but now it's like, yay, a washing machine.
And that's honestly how I felt about like clothing. Because now that I'm older, your mom always is like a joking but like loving gift. She would always give me a new set of socks for Christmas. And I look forward to it every year now. I'm just like, thank you.
Yes, socks.
The old ones, I swear, they like, once you put them in the washer and dryer, they go into another dimension. So.
Oh, yeah.
Without fail.
Or our cat steal them.
But yeah, I'm so grateful for, Laura giving me a new set of socks every Christmas.
Yeah, so because I get all excited about new pajama pants and socks that my mom gets me. I'm like, yes.
Yep. So always a fantastic gift. But
yeah, because I remember like one time my mom got like a set of bowls for Christmas one year. And as a kid, I'm like, wow, that's a dumb gift. But now I'd be like, ooh, new bowls.
As goofy as it sounds, I would love, of all things, once again going back to the past, certain things and like little collector's pieces you'd love to have in the future. Those Hercules plates from the Disney movie Hercules in 1997. It was a McDonald's or Burger King, one of the two. They had 6 specialized plates that were out. My parents still have a few of them. I think
they do.
They have Zeus and I think Hercules, maybe Pegasus too. But I never had the other. I'd love to get all 6 just to have those again because those are nostalgic for me. Like, because I idolized Hercules growing up. I'm like, this is such a cool movie.
One thing my mom has always done really well with Christmas is stockings. Her stocking stuffers are amazing.
She does a good job with that.
She does do a good job.
You do a good job with that, too.
I think I inherited that from her.
Yeah. You also inherited fantastic cooking, too, because you always cook probably the best Thanksgiving turkey I've ever had.
Thank you.
Oh, my gosh, is that good. Look forward to Thanksgiving every year. And then this year, I'm taking initiative with cooking ham for Christmas.
Oh, man, that ham you made.
My Easter ham I made with, brown sugar and honey glaze with pineapple and cherries. Oh, my Lord, is it mouthwatering.
It was so good.
Mm-hmm. So I'll be making that this Christmas season as well, because, man, is that sucker good. So we can get talking food for a whole nother pod episode.
We could.
That's the other thing, too. When it comes to, like, certain food items for Christmas and everything, you guys used to get this old chocolate tree from Timo's, right?
No.
Timo's?
Timo's. Timo's chocolate. I think they were a local chocolatier in Akron.
Yeah, they were good.
Oh, my God. They made these chocolate Christmas trees. Like, okay, so it was like a hollow
hollowed out Christmas tree. Like it had like the edging was basically kind of like a chocolate wall.
It was all chocolate, and then inside was just different little chocolates.
Bunch of little mini chocolates they made.
Oh my God, I would eat just the chocolate tree part. It was so
Those
good.
things got pricey too, because I remember when we first met, I think they were $25, and then towards the end, before they went defunct, I think they got up to like $35 or $40. Like it was nuts.
They used to do a heart.
They were good. I think they did like an Easter egg too for Easter, didn't they?
I'm trying to look Timo's. Yeah, Timo Candy. It was on West Exchange Street in Akron. They closed.
Yeah, darn good stuff.
Oh my God, yeah, their chocolate was so good.
One big holiday chocolate treat that I like are Harry London Buckeyes. Those are just like the Rolls Royce of any chocolate Buckeye you can get. What a Buckeye is, it basically looks like an actual deer's eye, but it's basically just like chocolate and peanut butter.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's like a little chocolate and peanut butter cup, kind of like a Reese's, only a lot more like smoother peanut butter, and the chocolate's a lot richer. Oh,
to get off the food topic, I just thought of, so a tradition that you and I kind of started doing every Christmas was we'll go get some hot chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have a lake from our house that they put up a whole bunch of Christmas lights.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll get some hot chocolate, and then we'll go walk around the lake and look at the Christmas lights.
Yep.
But then within the last few years, there's a house in another city. They literally decorate their house exactly like Clark did in Christmas Vacation.
And the neighbors get into it. Like, the neighbors got a pool, so they reenact the scene. I think they have like a cardboard cutout of the lady that was like in that red swimsuit or something like that. And
but
they have Eddie's RV there too.
It's such a neat thing. So we drive there to go see that too. So we've been doing that every year.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a one to see. That's over in Wadsworth, Ohio. If you ever get a chance, check that out. It's you Google it. Google the Griswold House over in Wadsworth,
Ohio.
Fantastic little. There's gonna be quite a few people probably stopping by for a photo, but it's worth it. Good stuff. But yeah, that's kind of a cool thing. I remember like there was actually another. A person, I don't know if it was like a dentist, a guy who owned a dentist office or something, but like he had like this big forest of trees, and he would like hang up in triangles a whole bunch of different colored lights, and we would drive by it and it would just be like a tree forest all lit up with like Christmas lights. It was gorgeous, and we would drive by that. I think when we first started dating.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was really cool, and it would go on for like almost a good mile or two. It was awesome. It would go way back too. It'd be tons of lights. Really,
sorry, my mom keeps texting me.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, that. Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
Yeah, there was another place that we would go to over in Salem, Ohio. This one, I think the guy's a millionaire, and he put on like so many lights on his mansion. It was crazy. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was good. And then we used to go to Ogilvy too, way down in West Virginia.
Oh yeah. I remember when we went to Ogilvy, I was slightly underwhelmed.
As was I. It was a lot different in the past, trust me.
There were a lot of lights, but then you would drive through and there would be huge chunks where there were no lights.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and the lines were just crazy with the cars. So, yeah, when we went down there, it was very underwhelming. But the one place to check out, I think they have like a little like half museum type thing there. They got like a little bit of like a train model set and stuff like that. They also have like a Christmas laser light show, which is kind of cool. Remember they always, have Grandma got run over by a reindeer. So they have like lasers shooting everywhere. So that was always a lot of fun. That's a good memory from the past. I remember some of the other Christmas presents that I, harkened back to from way back when. I remember getting an Xbox, the original Xbox. That's when we got into our Halo days.
Yeah.
That was probably my best gift I got for Christmas, was honestly getting the Xbox and the 360.
I'm pretty sure I got my first PlayStation for Christmas.
Think so?
Yeah.
Like the old gray original PS1?
The PS1, yeah, I got that for Christmas.
That's a good one. Never got an N64. Once again, I didn't get actually, no, it would have been the Dreamcast for Christmas. I got the Dreamcast, I think, in the year 2000's Christmas, because I remember, like, a few months later, once again, Matt Rill came out of nowhere, and he's just like, yeah, you realize they went bankrupt, right? I'm like, what? And, yeah, they basically discontinued the Dreamcast. I'm like, are you kidding me? Screw PlayStation! So I became a diehard Xbox fan, just because basically they rose from the ashes of the Sega. Just like, how dare Sony? Yeah, never really got an N64 for Christmas. You always see that one kid in the famous internet video.
Oh, yeah.
An N64! So, going absolutely apeshit. That was probably one of my best Christmas presents. But once again, going back to that Sonic pinball machine, that was a cool one. So, it's going way back in the 90s. I have to ask Jeremy and the guys what their famous Christmas present is. You know what? Just for shits and giggles, let's see if he picks up.
Who?
Jeremy. We're going to test out the call feature on this pod episode, so see if Jeremy can join us here. Give it a try anyway.
Hey, man, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, Jeremy? You're live on the pod.
Hi, Jeremy.
Yo, what you guys talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about holiday traditions and all kinds of stuff, and we were kind of asking the question, is there any special Christmas gift that you think was like the best gift you ever got?
Oh, dude. Okay, the ones that stick out are Lego sets and Nerf guns. I don't know if I can name specific ones, but like I was so hyped for all of those. I don't know, Lego sets, like there's this line of like really big buildings that they make. It's like the classic series or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And if I get one of those, it would be like, what? No way.
I remember you and Ryan in particular, you got really into like, Legos and Connects And
I remember when you and I first started dating, going into your downstairs room and Jeremy's Connect stuff was everywhere.
oh yeah, you guys would build all kinds of cool stuff. So
I specifically
Yeah, the
remember,
roller coasters and everything.
I specifically remember the Ferris wheel.
mhm.
That's the one I remember.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, them was big.
good stuff. Oh,
Hell yeah.
any other holiday things you wanted to share, Jeremy? Because we kind of went down the rabbit hole of a whole bunch of different stuff. Like we remember sled riding in the backyard and like live Christmas trees. Oh my gosh, there's tons.
Yeah, we had I don't know. I feel like it was the best or one of the better hills in the neighborhood for sled riding.
Definitely.
So I don't know. Everyone would come to us. It was kind of cool.
Yep, we found out later on it was better to use inner tubes than actual sleds because inner tubes were super slick.
Yeah.
So they would pop like
and it would
crazy.
hurt less if you hit a tree or something.
Exactly. Yeah, they would kind of cushion the blow a little bit. So
Oh yeah.
we actually got to go over. There's another place I think down in Mansfield that actually has glow tubing. So that's,
I want to do that.
and they got a big conveyor belt that'll actually take you up to the top of the hill. So we got to check that out in this coming Christmas season.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, we should all kind of hang out with that stuff. But yeah, I just figured I'd kind of touch base with you, Jeremy, and kind of get your input on what cool Christmas traditions that you kind of remember.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Mostly just getting together with all the family and hanging out at grandma's I think, that was like my biggest childhood memory, I think.
Yep, I shared that a little bit earlier because I remember going over and playing Skippo and Candyland. Is there any particular games you played over there?
Oh, dude, Kerplunk with the
Yep.
sticks and the marbles
Yep.
was a good one.
Remember
I love busting out the Hot Wheel tracks and making like marble runs.
Oh
and
my
stuff.
God, I forgot about the Hot Wheels. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
all those years ago, man. All right, Jeremy. Well, hey, I let you go. I just wanted to kind of get your input
Cool.
on stuff. So thanks for joining.
Yeah, no worries.
Cool.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah. Have a good one, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy.
Yeah. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
We had our first call-in guest.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the first time we've done that?
Yep. Live on the air.
Live
So,
on air.
Mm-hmm. So good stuff. I figured Jeremy probably have very similar type of memories with me, even though he's technically 8 years younger than me. Like, still go over to Grandma's house, and he would probably remember like scrambled eggs and stuff like that on Christmas. So, Grandma always made pizzelles too. Really good at making those.
Yes. Your grandma's pizzelles are very good.
Hers were always good, and she always had angel food cake too for some reason. So that was always like her go-to cake.
Oh, man.
It's always white and fluffy.
My grandma used to make the best Texas sheet cake.
Really?
Oh, man.
Mm.
Have you ever had Texas sheet cake?
Nope.
It's like a really thin chocolate cake.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of had a cinnamon. I remember hers having kind of a cinnamony taste to it.
Yeah.
But there's like a layer of like thick, fudgy chocolate icing on the top.
Ooh.
It was, every so often will crave, like that's one thing I miss about my grandma because she made such good food.
Mm-hmm.
I will crave something that she made. It's like, I can't have it.
Yep.
I'm trying to find a recipe. I've been looking up Texas sheet cake recipes because I want to see if I can. Oh my God, they were so good.
Oh. Yeah, that's the thing. Boy, if you get the chance, definitely write down like any recipes you get from like, extended family members. Because boy,
Yes.
when they pass on, like those, oh my gosh, those recipes, they go with them.
Well, think about it though, but like our grandparents' generation, some of them didn't have recipes. They just cooked everything,
Yep. Just from memory.
They didn't have measurements or anything. They just
Eyeballed it. Yep. There's a famous analogy from somebody, which is very interesting. And it was like, I think it was a lady talking to her mother about why she cuts the end off a ham. And she went to go ask her mom that Christmas, like, Mom, why do you always cut the end off a ham? Because I do it too every time I cook for Christmas. And she said, I always did it because my mother did it. And they went to go ask their grandma why she cut the ends off a ham. And her grandma said, because it could fit in my pan.
Oh.
And that's the only reason they did that. So it kind of shows us like, certain things kind of carry on, whether it like intentionally or not. So it was kind of a cool little lesson where it's kind of like, you don't, just because a tradition's there doesn't mean it's like,
Well, I remember
meant to be special.
I remember Christmas morning, my grandma would always make a ham. And then I don't know why, I'd always have to cut a big chunk right out of the middle just to try it to make sure it tasted good.
I remember one tradition we actually kind of started, though, was actually getting Chinese food on Christmas night. Mm-hmm. That was kind of a cool one because I do like getting good Chinese food. Although I guess that's a Jewish tradition.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, we did that for a few years.
Yeah. Well, we were just looking for a place, any place in town that was open on Christmas. And it's like, oh, okay, Chinese food's open.
Man, what else have we done?
They also went to IHOP on Christmas Day. That was nuts.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was an interesting time.
Oh, yeah. So, good pancakes, though. Was there any particular favorite holiday movie that you really liked more than others?
Well,
Because we kind of touched on, It's a Wonderful Life and everything.
I mean, we already kind of talked about that, but Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Kind of the go-to for the Rankin Bass classics.
Yeah.
Never really got into Frosty that much. Kind of sad because he just melts away. Like,
well, it's funny talking to my parents about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Like, okay, nowadays, you can watch it on streaming, you can watch it on DVD. But back then, if you missed it, you had to wait a whole year.
Yep.
To watch it
until VCRs came around, and you could just record the damn thing. So you always had it.
Yeah, because I remember, you could when I was a kid, you could get it on tape, you could just get it on DVD.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you ever watch The Last Unicorn during Christmas season too?
Oh no, I didn't watch it during Christmas.
Wasn't a Christmassy thing.
No.
Some people argue the first Harry Potter movie is kind of a Christmassy movie.
I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I always like Home Alone 2 over Home Alone 1. That was kind of a cool one
the
for me.
Home Alone movies.
Yep. A limousine and a pizza. That was a classic. So I like that one. I didn't really like the third one and fourth one for Home Alone. I thought they were just okay. And apparently in Poland, I think the number one Christmas movie over there is Home Alone 1.
Weird.
That's like a weird tradition for them. So they love it out there. If you're listening from Poland, shout out.
I don't know. We've talked about it a lot.
Yeah. I never really got into Elf all that much. That's not Elf.
Yeah,
okay.
I kind of have a hard time getting into the newer Christmas movies.
Yeah.
And I think it's more just because of nostalgia purpose. Because
I like Polar Express, even though the animation's a little weird.
Well, by today's standards, it's kind of.
I think they're trying to go with the aesthetic of the book. That's why they were doing that type of animation. And it's basically Tom Hanks' The Christmas Story.
Yeah, it's Tom Hanks.
Yeah. But speaking of Christmas Story, that's kind of the classic we always turn on every Christmas season. The one with Ralphie and the Red Ryder BB gun.
Okay, that is one newer Christmas movie I like, is the Christmas Story
Christmas.
The new one they just came out with.
Not to be confused with Christmas Story 2. They came out with a sequel to the original Christmas Story, and that one kind of flopped.
Yeah, it sucks.
This one, I kind of feel like is the spiritual successor to the original Christmas Story with Ralphie, because it brings back Peter Billingsley as Ralphie. He's all grown up.
Almost all the old actors from the original. Obviously, his mom and dad, they had passed away, so they don't.
Yep.
But
like all of his childhood friends, they basically, the one owns a bar now, the other one's kind of just like, one of the average locals that always just runs up a tab and drinks there.
The actor who played Scut Farkus comes back.
Oh my God, it was brilliant. But the way they did that really kind of paid homage to the old one and kind of was like a good tip of the cap. But it's truly the spiritual successor to A Christmas Story.
It is.
If you haven't seen it, check it out. Christmas Story Christmas.
It's really good.
Oh yeah, I loved it. So, and they actually were at the original house over in Cleveland, Ohio. So, the big old yellow and green house on Cleveland Street.
And can't you actually stay the night?
You can, but if you try and stay, I mean, you used to, but I think they sold it again. But I remember the old owners tried to stay there on Christmas Eve night. It was in the thousands. It was nuts to stay in the Christmas Story house on Christmas Eve. It was just great. It was like $3,500 or something like that a night. I'm like, whoa.
No, thank you.
But that would be one heck of a memory. Oh my gosh, you're in the Christmas Story house on Christmas. Now it's a museum. So. And the Bumpus house right next door, too. So I think they're both preserved. But that's always kind of like the quintessential Christmas movie that we would watch. I think my cousins love that movie, too. Especially my Aunt Nan. She loves it. So, because I think she was a teacher, so she relates to the whole teacher scene with the A+++++.
Okay, not about movies, but something my grandpa, every year at the Christmas Eve party, he would always listen to Mannheim's Steamroller.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Christmas Canon?
But he had a CD and it would just be playing in the background the whole time during our Christmas Eve parties.
We still have not seen Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
No.
And they always come around Cleveland during like the holiday season. I know your friend Julie's went to go see him a couple times too. So, but I always wanted to see them in concert. That'd be a cool one to see. And we'd never seen Nutcracker. Mm-mm. Like the actual like ballet performance with all the rats and the ballerinas and toy soldiers. Man, there's a lot of Christmas stuff out there.
It's nice kind of talking about all this stuff because I'm thinking back to all this. Like, I forgot about this. I forgot about
segue into
that.
other stuff. And that's the whole point of this. It's kind of thought-provoking. It's like, oh, yeah, I remember when that happened and this happened. So we'll probably have more holiday pods, too, getting, kind of closer to the holiday season here. Kind of just makes sense. So I'm trying to remember some of the other movies and everything, too. I remember watching that Prancer movie back in grade school. Didn't you always love when they brought out, like, they wheeled in the TV in the classroom?
You knew it was going to be a good day when they wheeled in the TV cart.
Mm-hmm. They're just like, hey, we're watching movies today. Hooray. Remember we watched Prancer, because I think a lot of the girls wanted to watch it. I thought it was like kind of a sad movie. Because I've
never seen it.
The girls like counting out like the different, like there's this, over the road, there's like this big telephone wire where they kind of drape like Santa and his 8 reindeer. And she's counting out the reindeer. And then she gets to Prancer and Prancer literally falls off and just like smashes into the road. I'm like, oh my God. And then like an actual like Santa's reindeer Prancer actually shows up at her house. I don't know if it was hurt or something. And she like, basically befriends it. So interesting story. We got that upstairs. That was an interesting one. And then Miracle on 34th Street. You like the old one. I like the newer one.
I like the old one, yeah.
The newer one, I think it has, what's his name? Richard Attenborough plays Santa.
Yeah.
I think he looks a natural Santa. But, yeah, I think it's probably a pretty good time to kind of wrap up everything because we've been going for like well over an hour.
Almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, so we'll wrap it up here.
Which, funny, we completely off topic. Remember the study that I was telling about the other day? They were saying how the average married couple only talks for 30 minutes a week.
Yep. I don't know how they do it.
That could never be us.
Yeah. I don't know. Literally, we just, in this pod episode alone, we're like almost an hour and a half. So.
I mean, but like in our day-to-day lives, like we talk for 30 minutes just in the morning when we're getting ready for work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know where they got that study from. I feel like that's another fabricated thing just for shock value and clicks.
I don't know. Or they're talking to unhealthy couples.
Exactly. Man, I think they're full of shit. So. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning into the pod. Hope you all have a happy holiday season, and we'll see you next time on It All Depends on the Situation. Have a good one.